me, let me take all of us to Parliament, where the minister will be presenting the budget to find out what is happening there. Our parliamentary affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, is standing by and joining us live now with details of what's happening in Parliament. Kweku, you are there. What's happening now?
Well, Brace, as we speak, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has not arrived in the House. In fact, if you look at the chamber floor, it is currently empty because there's not a single MP on site now. Our understanding is that there are going to be a number of caucus meetings with both sides haggling over the key details. Remember, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta had met both caucuses yesterday. In fact, yesterday he met the Speaker of Parliament as well as the leadership of the House to brief them on some of the key issues he will be bringing. And so at least what we know now is that MPs on both sides, the leaders, particularly on the Finance Committee, know what exactly will be in this budget that is coming today. And they have to firm it up by way of caucus meetings to try and understand what their respective positions will be. We know that the NDC have put out some specific things that they say that they will oppose if the Finance Minister brings that up. And let me take you through a number of them. They say that they will oppose any introduction of any new taxes. And not just that, they want government to review all the taxes that they had imposed over the last 7 years to try and give the private space and breathing room. Yesterday, the minority leader, the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, made that point. They say they want adequate commitment on the demolished La General Hospital. This has come up quite strongly on the floor over the last few weeks. In particular, the MP for Ladadi Kotopon, Rita Odole Soa, had raised issues, and just yesterday, the health minister was on the floor to brief MPs that a facility expected to be constructed at a cost of 68 million euros have now been revised downwards to 50 million euros. What would that mean? We want to see that in the budget. That's what the minority have said. They say that they want a compensation and resettlement that were affected by the Akosombo Dam spillage and the floods that have come up in the Volta region over the last few weeks. They want a comprehensive resettlement and compensation package, and then they want cost-cutting measures. So the minority are clear in their mind what they want to see Ken Ofori-Atta bring out in the budget. The majority side have been quite muted, although they've also met the finance minister. They don't want to commit themselves so much. They say they first want the minister to come to the floor, tell the public what exactly is in the budget, and then if they have comments, they will do so. Mind you, right from next week, Monday, the debate is going to start in earnest on the floor. This week, MPs will do the post-budget workshop right here in this chamber. You know the controversy about going to Rock City Hotel in Kwehu, which some NDC MPs spoke against, and eventually the House had to beat a U-turn and now decide that they are going to hold the post-budget workshop here. So the demands of the minority, clear-cut, they've made the point, particularly about taxes, and they want to see some extreme reduction. Without that, they are going to be on the floor and vote against them. Already, the finance minister has told them he expects to raise between 11 and 12 billion Ghana cedis in new revenue. Where is he going to get that from? Is he going to introduce new taxes? Is he going to tweak the old taxes that are currently in force and increase the rates? We are expecting to see what the finance minister is expected to do today on the floor. So, Brace, it's going to be a showdown today. Of course, not Kennedy Japan presenting the budget, but clearly the minority have signaled their intention to put spokes in the wheel of government if they come about introducing any new taxes and any austerity measures. Already, they've said that although they don't have the numbers, they have only 137. If the majority side are able to bring all their numbers to the floor, they don't get to vote against anything. But Brace is all out there for us to see today when the finance minister comes to the days, makes that presentation, and then we'll hear what the minority leader will tell us in terms of the position that this caucus has taken.
What the finance minister will likely tell Ghanaians today?
Well, the finance minister is expected to talk about revenue measures because some of the key issues that is currently in terms of the struggle for this IMF deal is the country's inability to raise a lot more revenue. And that is why Ken Ofori-Atta is seeking to raise 11 and 12 billion Ghana cedis for 2024. So that is key. We also know that 2024 is an election year. In 2016, the John Mahama government made a lot of noise about zero Bank of Ghana financing. And in terms of all the trouble that we've seen the Bank of Ghana face over the last few months, including protests that have called for the Bank of Ghana governor and his deputies to resign, we wish to see in this budget if the finance minister will commit to zero financing from the Bank of Ghana. But also, one of the key reasons why experts have said that this economy is struggling is successive governments' insatiable appetite to actually spend beyond what they collect in the country. So in election year, we've seen over the past few years that government deficit actually goes up because government spends a lot more money than they are able to raise. 2024 is election year. Not just any election, is very crucial. The New Patriotic Party say they want to break the 8th. That would mean there are a lot of projects scattered across the country that they have to invest a lot more money in and complete. If not, they're going to have a very difficult time in 2024. They have admitted that. So that may mean that government will be seeking to spend more money. Yeah. But that would mean also that government has to raise more revenue. If you are raising more revenue, are you going to introduce any more taxes? Government is really tight-lipped about whether they are going to introduce new taxes. In fact, over the weekend, when the Information Minister Kojo Oponkroma spoke to MFR Pawu on the probe, he spoke about growth measures and how government seeks to raise more revenue. But will this mean taxes, or this will mean that government is going to cut some of the expenditure items, some of the key things that you're spending money on to try and get more money to divert to other places? That will be seen today. But of course, our colleague Elton Brobe has also been working with sources in the finance ministry and has had some ideas. Already, the sources tell Elton that government does not expect to introduce any taxes. But as we've come to know over the years, when it comes to matters having to do with budgets, things change 5 minutes to the presentation of the budget. The finance minister can come in with a document, and 5 minutes before he gets on to present it, there are a few things that happen that will mean that he has to change things and introduce new things at the last minute. So until the finance minister mounts the days and makes this presentation, you cannot really say anything for sure. But that is also key. So 2 things is key in terms of what the finance minister will be presenting today: revenue measures, 1, and cutting cost. And 2024 being election year, are we going to spend beyond our means, which will mean that right after 2025, the economy is going to go back to relapsing the kind of tough scenes we've seen in the country post-COVID. And the minority say they do not want to be a party to that. And so if government brings in any austerity measures, government brings in any measures that they believe will worsen the plight of the economy, they will be on their feet to oppose it. Brace.
Do we know the exact time the minister is supposed to do this presentation?
Brace, 10 o'clock a.m., that is the advertised time, but over the past 5, 6, 7 years or more, the 10 o'clock time has never been adhered to because we know that there's a lot of jiggling that has to go behind the scenes. We expect that by 10 o'clock, the finance minister would have arrived here, maybe in the presence of the chief of staff and other senior government officials who may not necessarily be members of parliament, who will be expected to be here. Our expectation is that this will draw a little bit into the afternoon, maybe around midday, especially because the minority have signaled their intention to oppose certain growth measures, quote unquote, that government has put up. And so it will mean that the finance minister would have to still get a buy-in of his colleague cabinet members and the president ultimately. Mind you, the budget is presented on the authority of the president. It is his budget that the finance minister is presenting. And so the finance minister will have to get his buy-in on any changes, only last-minute changes that may be introduced before the budget will come. And so if anything we've seen over the last few years is anything to go by, we expect that this budget to be read anywhere between 11 a.m. and 12 a.m. In the past few times, it has gone beyond 12 a.m. But the Speaker of Parliament has been insistent that we need to get this done quickly enough, give MPs enough time to scrutinize the budget, scrutinize the proposals, so that from Monday when the debate starts, all of these key details will go in. So 10 o'clock is the time set for this presentation, but we expect that it will delay a little bit. MPs are currently locked up. A lot of them are coming in now, and we expect that very soon most of them are now coming into the chamber. There are caucus meetings that are happening all over the place, and so when that happens, we expect to get the key details in terms of the respective positions that the caucuses have taken. We expect that from 10 a.m. there will be a number of news conferences on the sidelines of the Chamber of Parliament in terms of what exactly is expected to happen. But if you look at the floor now, it's empty. There's not a single MP inside because there are a lot of caucus meetings happening on the side to be able to firm up positions. But around 9 o'clock, we expect that MPs will start coming in every now and then because of some of these key issues that they need to discuss, these key issues that they need to be able to take stances on. But this 2024 budget, Brace, of course, your guests have been telling you, is very crucial because government hopes that it will be able to leverage on the IMF deal that it has signed over the last few months and be able to improve the economy. And that is the situation that the minority say, well, they are in full support of any measures that government is going to take that is going to improve the state of the economy. But if you introduce measures that will worsen the plight of the ordinary people, in particular business, touted as the engine of growth, they will be in full force to oppose it. And Atoforsen has been on the days more than 3 times since Parliament resumed 2 weeks ago to make the case that his side will not be part of the impoverishment of the poor Ghanaian.
Okay, I guess now the Rock City is not coming on. In just the next 30 seconds, have you heard them speak about it?
Well, a lot of MPs are not going on record about this because it's not particularly a very sexy topic, because MPs are concerned about the backlash that they received when they decided to go to Rock City in Kwehu over the weekend. In fact, some of the things I've been hearing, Brace, off the record, is that some NDC MPs were actually not very, very confident about going to Rock City. We know who owns Rock City, Brian Achampo, a member of the NPP side, and NDC MP telling me just yesterday that they were afraid that some of their rooms may even be bugged because of the politics of the country. So NDC MPs are really excited because they were the ones who stood up in opposition to the post-budget workshop being held in Rock City. The rough estimates we've had was that it was going to cost in excess of 2 million cedis. Some have even put it at 10 million Ghana cedis, because if you're going to ferry 275 MPs, journalists, their drivers, security men to Rock City Hotel, it's going to cost that much. And MPs were like, no, this is a time of austerity. And if you're asking Ghanaians to tighten their belts, you can't be living largesse. You can't be living, or like Atofosi will say, you cannot be living a champagne budget on an Akpeteshie budget. And so that's the point they've made. And so MPs, especially on the minority side, are excited that they're not going to go to Rock City. But the majority MPs who back the idea are now saying that, well, if we have to do in Parliament to show the Ghanaian public that we are also committed about the economic challenge that we are facing, then so be it. So on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, MPs to be expected to come back to work right here in Parliament for the post-budget workshop, where they are expected to go into the nitty-gritties of the budget ahead of the debate officially starting on Monday, committees sitting before the appropriation may be passed on the 22nd of December, when Parliament will go for Christmas break. Brace.
All right, thank you so much. That's Kweku Asante joining us from Parliament there.